didn't have a specific influence towards his writing. He just started writing poetry, which translated into books. His inspiration and mentor was Douglas Livingstone. He did not always aspire to be a writer. He originally wanted to become a teacher and an accountant, which he did both for a short while. He attended two universities, Springfield University and UNISA. In his poems and writing, he aims to promote a vision of a more humane society, a society that not only respects all its members as human beings, but which considers them as spiritual beings and essentially divine. Shabir was mostly inspired during his time of fasting. Most of his poems are dedicated to his Muslim.
You cannot know the fears I have, by Shabir Banuba. You cannot know the fears I have, as I think about you. I fear that I shall live only at your laughter, lie awake long nights while you sleep, so loneliness does not trouble you, nor hunger, nor thirst. Overwhelm your waking world with wonder, with music of other worlds, your earlier home. Read to you poems written the night before, while you smile, bewildered, or just when my very breathing begins to depend on you, even as your tiny fingers close around mine, some insensitive thing crushes your butterfly spirit. Shadows of the sun-darkened land flow over you, and the eclipse closes your eyes. I cannot live with the thought of having you, loving you, any other way. A day without such care has no meaning. We shall find for you.
The poem was written during the apartheid era, where he and his wife were questioning whether to have a child who would be forced to live in a sun-darkened land. The poem was written before his child was even conceived. The poem refers to a newborn child. The parent's love for the child is so great that for most of the poem, the parent addresses the child as if it has already arrived in the world. For the parent, this is the only kind of love that the child deserves. There is a subtle indication towards the end of the poem that the child does not yet exist. As much as the parent fears for the safety of the child in an unnatural land, in the end, the force of life prevails, and the final line indicates the parent's resolve to have a child, one who, by its very birth, would remove darkness prevalent in the land.
You cannot know the fears I have, by Shabir Banuba. You cannot know the fears I have as I think about you. I fear that I shall live only at your laughter, lie awake long nights while you sleep, so loneliness does not trouble you, nor hunger, nor thirst. Overwhelm your waking world with wonder, with the music of other worlds. Your earlier home read to you poems written the night before, while you smiled bewildered. Or just when my very breathing begins to depend on you, even as your tiny fingers close around mine, some intensive thing crushes your butterfly spirit. Shadows of a sun-darkened land flow over you, and the eclipse closes your eyes. I cannot live with the thought of having you, loving you, any other way. A day without such care has no meaning. We shall find for you.
He is proud of his Indian heritage, and his broad family culture is still Indian in many ways. The food, the clothes, and the language to their elders are all influenced by the Indian heritage. He and his family keep in touch with India by reading and following the news. Almost everything that he writes is spiritual in some way. It's not something he sets out to do consciously. It's part of his nature that shows in his writing. Douglas Livingstone stated, I first came to know Shabir through his poems, and then I was struck by the clean, simplistic line he generally favored. But this simplicity was deceptive. He made each word carry great emotion and intellectual weight.